He's the guy who was pushing the bill, the Obama law. He sent a letter to Condoleezza Rice. After the law was passed, he said, what are you doing about the situation of the women? When Joseph Kabila, the president of Congo, came here in 2007, he sent a letter to Bush and said, hey, I've been calling for a special envoy to the Congo. You haven't appointed one. But then 2008, he's now the man. But the people do not know that he knows. But the American people do not understand that the United States government is involved. And they are counting on you not to know. And even if you know, they're counting on you not to care. So to put pressure on them is one, getting him to enforce his own law. They're not asking for a new law. Let's say just enforce Public Law 109-456, which we call the Obama law. They're asking him to appoint a special envoy. That's what he can do. What will the special envoy do? Bring the regional player together on the table to discuss, because they believe through dialogue, that's how you're going to end it. They don't believe in military solution to go after the rebels. Anytime you go after the rebels, guess who's suffering? The Congolese with them. Every single time they had any military operation on the rebels, we had to suffer. So they know there is no military solution. So that type of pressure will help. And you can do it in many multi-layer levels. It can be letter writing campaign. It can be phone calls. It can be rally. It can actually be reaching out to your congressional delegation and finding out what is the position. Because I'm not sure the Congress people for this district and the senators for the state what the position is on the Congo and what they are doing in the Senate. But I can tell you, the Congress people that I know are doing something about it. Durban is doing something about it. He's not in the Senate anymore. Rice Feingold, he actually been to the Congo, but he's not in the Senate anymore. And we hope if he is the special envoy, he's going to help. Congresswoman Anne-Marie Burko, she's a Republican. Surprisingly, she's the greatest supporter the Congo have ever had. We had a congressional briefing. She just got in with the Tea Party. But guess what she did? She came to the briefing. She said, I'm very concerned about the situation. I'm going to call a hearing on the UN mapping report. So it's a contrast. So wait a minute, But she is pushing for that. And that's, I don't want to say that's unfortunate. I'm understanding this is the United States politics. But there are people within the government, within the Congress that are doing something. So it's a matter of us getting them to see these 5 bullet points that I shared and finding out how they can get engaged. And I think there's some also documentation in the back that's been printed that you can get signed up to the letter. There is a talk tomorrow at 6 p.m. I think one of the organizers can share more information about the talk we will have. There are some orange cards that she's holding. So we'll have a smaller session with people who are more interested in finding out how to do that. I didn't know how to lobby Congress. I mean, I'm not a Capitol Hill person, but today I know what I have to do. I'm not going to wear this, I'm wearing a tie. So I understand how Washington is and what you have to do to get things done. But ordinary people have to know you really have that power. That calling your congressperson, they don't listen to me. I mean, I have a green card, I'm not a U.S. citizen. I do pay tax, but I'm not. But then I don't vote. So me telling them about the Congo, what district are you in? So, okay, I'm not your senator, I'm not your congressperson. But if you do get at least 20 people, not more than that, to actually pressure them, you'll see some action. Let's start moving.
So the solution is in Rwanda and getting everyone to
It's one of the solutions. You have Rwanda and Uganda are playing a negative role, right? But it's the government, it's not the people of the country. No, it's the government of this country who are playing it. And we believe that if there are dialogue and political space in these two countries, we will not going to have always their conflict transported into the Congo. Within the Congo, free and fair election, holding mining corporation accountable, and enforcing the recommendation from the UN mapping report, because it calls for an international tribunal for Congo. Having the tribunal will make it easy to try anybody else. That's it? Yes?
Can you talk more about the situation for women in the Congo and why it's the most unsafe place to live for a woman?
Yes. In 1998, the second invasion, is when the rape as a weapon of war was introduced in the Congo. It's the cheapest way to displace people. It's the cheapest way to intimidate people. So whenever you see the women being attacked, I tell you one thing about the Congolese women. They are the backbone of our society. If you break them, you break the Congo. Because a woman within the Congolese community, in the Congo, have the capacity to support about 10 other families. But now, how are these crimes happening? They're not happening in hiding. Even if you look my Facebook page, I posted, actually April 1st, just this April Fool, there was a woman shot in the head right after she was raped. Guess what the locals are doing today? Because before, they used not to take the pictures of it. As of 2009, now they said we have to take the pictures of it and show the people what is happening, because people don't realize it happens in public. And they are not disclosing that information. What do they do in public? Context, we are in this room. If one person is brutalized today, like all of us see someone being chopped off, killed, and raped, I guarantee you, none of us will come back in this room tomorrow. I know that. I've seen that happen. I mean, I even saw it in New York. There was an incident. It was kind of funny, what you learn living through war. That's one thing I didn't share. Like, I lived through the first invasions in the Congo, and there are some things you start learning. Like, whenever you hear a gunshot, how you lay, how you move, how you watch the crowd move. And I live in New York City, and I was in a jet train, and there was a gunshot, 3 or 4 gunshots within the car, and someone was shot there. And I witnessed what I saw when I was in Congo. How everybody stood up. They didn't even want to check who's hurt, right? They didn't even oh, wait a minute. They all stood up and started running in one direction. Now, that context, you put it back in the Congo, that these crimes, right, they are attacking the most powerful entity within the nation, and it's done in public. It really destroys the society. I mean, I'm saying that, even though me sometimes thinking, I try to analyze why some of the men leave the women after they are raped. Sometimes they are blamed. Then I'll ask myself, okay, if I'm married to a woman, then a guy comes in my house, and I'm not able to protect my wife, and they rape her in front of me, how will I live? It's like, it's a mental war, right? That they are bringing down the people to subhuman level. So that after they're done, you look at the area where people used to live, they're not there anymore. Guess what's popping up in the East? We have multiple mines. I can speak about one mine. We see a mine. That's the Cassiterite mine. It was a village. Today it's a mine. No one asked questions about who used to live there. But I can share with you, in 1994, there was Rwandan refugees who had the refugee camps there. They're not there anymore. There were people who lived there. They're not there anymore. But today, it's a mine. That I can't speak to you about what is happening to the killing of the people, but it's being used as a strategy of war. And it's being used very efficiently, unfortunately. That it's really destroying the communities within the country. But to stop the rape, you have to stop the conflict. And to stop the conflict, you have to stop the resource exploitation. That's the only way. The rape, unfortunately, will continue until there is peace in the country. And that's what we're fighting for, bringing peace back to the country. Any more questions? Wow, I hope I didn't bore all of you this evening. I'm a little scared. No question, that's good. Yes?
Could you speak a little bit about the upcoming elections, what the dynamics are in the country right now? So is there opposition? Does it have any backing?
The elections taking place this November is not looking so good. One is because the international community is not paying attention about it. In 2006, they allocated $500 million to make sure that the election take place. They needed that election to take place for obvious political reasons, to legitimize the government and not be accountable to the people. This year, it's not happening. The U.S. have only allocated $5 million the election. This is the country the size of Europe. International donors are not. The Congolese president changed the constitution, and that's the tactics that's known in some of the African countries. Whenever you have a president who wants to stay in power, that's what he's going to do. We were supposed to have 2 rounds of the elections. They said, no, we don't have money to have 2 rounds. We're going to have 1 round. But he passed through our Congress in Congo. Political leaders are arrested, beaten down and killed. There is an opposition. Is it a strong opposition that's supported on the outside? Many people do not know the leaders within the Congo. No, I hate throwing some names of some of them because I don't like politicians. I believe in institutions rather than the people. That I believe that regardless of the political leaders that we have that form the opposition, they are individuals. And the challenge of Africa has been building society around an individual. And when that individual is killed, everything falls apart. You know, when I looked at Parliament, right? The whole administration, including the president, they're in a plane crash. There is no civil war in Parliament. You know, there is no chaos in Parliament. And the reason why that happened is that Parliament built those institutions. So what I encourage people as we look at the elections, and know that there is an opposition, know that it's going to be a sham election, I know that already, that what we have to do is collect data. And that's what the Egyptian youth did. There was an election there, but they collected the data to show to the world how this was a sham election. That they used it during the mobilization of the January 25th revolution. And that's one of the youth projects I was sharing. I didn't go into detail, hoping that people will ask more about it. That the youth groups that are asking for those electronic devices, they ask for a laptop, cell phone, flip cameras, and cameras. They're going to be election observers. They don't have the tools to do that. So what we're doing now is connecting them with university campuses and telling them, here's what they're doing. Computer literacy, don't tell anybody. And civic education. But actually, they are going to be election monitors to film, to record, to take pictures, and have the data available for people to see what are the challenges that the Congolese people are facing. And I believe that process is building an electoral monitoring institution that's more beneficial than finding out what are the individuals who may have tendencies to do that. Maybe for the people tomorrow, you never know. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right, I guess I won't hold you all up for a long time. And I want to thank you for being here this evening. I hope that some of the information I shared with you was valuable. I hope you will check our website, friendsofthecommon.org. I hope you will stay engaged. There are so many hopes I have for you that you took the time to be here and to stay for this long time. There is a reason why you stayed in this room for this period of time. And don't let this day just be another day you came to an event with a guy with an accent. Let it be the day where you came, you heard, and you took action, and that you changed the world. It's really the battle of the world. What's happening in Congo is happening around the world. So let's bring peace in the Congo and come to my birthday. Right?